It started here, in a very small village called 𝗕𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗄𝗏, deep in the forest in the northern part of Sweden. My brother 𝗀𝗀𝗄𝗁 was born here in 1942. 32 years later, in 1974, he founded the company Monitor. 𝗀𝗀𝗄𝗁 always wanted to do things in a different way. He wanted to make everything easier and more efficient. I remember when he came up with the idea to develop what we now call time recording. 𝗀𝗀𝗁 said, imagine if we could get the operators on the production floor to report manufacturing orders in real time. You would be able to know exactly what's going on down on the production floor in real time. The feedback we got from our customers was that our workers on the shop floor don't know what to do and how to handle a computer. We have to remember that this was in the late 80s, before the PC was widely available. 𝗀𝗀𝗄𝗁 was convinced and pressed ahead with development. It became a huge success. Our customers were now able to follow up their production in a completely new way, with minimal need for investment. 𝗀𝗀𝗄𝗁's ideas are still the heart of the company, as well as our product Monitor.
The seed of 𝗀𝗀𝗄𝗁's idea took us all the way down to Southeast Asia. So now we're here in our headquarters in Penang, where we have been since 2013. We saw a booming market with huge growth potential the moment we set a foot here in Southeast Asia for the first time. So we wanted to unveil this new opportunity to introduce Monitor, a complete enterprise resource planning system optimized for the manufacturing industry, to enable the local manufacturers to take control and future-proof their manufacturing business and stay ahead of competition. Following our direct approach for more than 4 decades, we work as closely as possible to support our customers in their digital transformation journey. Today we empower more than 5,000 manufacturing companies globally. It's around 300,000 daily users and over 120 customers in Southeast Asia. This gives us first-hand insights of industry needs and allowing us to share manufacturing best practices with our customers. At Monitor, we make sure everything we do uphold the core values: down to earth, committed and long-term. So we always strive to develop Monitor in a way that gives value to our customers. We try to make the manufacturing world a little bit better and a little bit more efficient every day. More than 300 employees around the world go to work every day to continue what 𝗀𝗀𝗁𝗁 once set in motion. So we continuously create and deliver the true values of Monitor to our customers by developing a customer-centric culture into our everyday business. Our aim is to become the market leader in the region, so we really value the trust and confidence our customers have placed in Monitor so far, and we demonstrate our appreciation by continually upgrading our technology, our processes and people to ensure the highest benchmarks and best system implementations.
Good afternoon to every participant. Thank you for joining our web forum. Welcome to the 4th series of the Smart Forward web forum. Today's discussion will be focusing on the understanding of the ERP, MES, OEE, all in one single system. I'm King Tik over here, your host and moderator. Smart Forward is a collaborative initiative to accelerate the journey towards the smart manufacturing. The objective of Smart Forward is to address manufacturers' concerns and challenges to adopt Industry 4.0. Businesses can get Industry 4.0 related articles, case studies, events, solutions from our own web portal, smartforward.my. Okay, and our newsletter as well. Smart Forward also organize webinars like what we have today, and corporate visits surveys, consultation services to bridge the gap of SMEs embarking into the smart manufacturing journey. Now, in our last series, our third series, we have discussed about some of the best practices to embark in the smart manufacturing journey. For those who have missed it, you can actually view it in our Smart Forward YouTube channel. Okay, you just type smart in the YouTube, you just type Smart Forward, then you'll be able to access to our previous first, second, and the third series of our Smart Forward web forum. Now, today we are going to have an exciting discussion whereby we have several speakers who have been in the smart manufacturing journey for some time right now. Okay, but before we start, I would like to remind everyone that please mute your mic. If you want to turn on your camera, we definitely welcome that, because so that we can interact better. Number 3 is that what we'll do is that after the speakers have finished their presentation or some sharing, we'll have the dialogue together with them, and we welcome all the participants to put in your thoughts, your comments, and as well as your questions in the chat box. My colleagues will actually compile it, and we will actually compile and actually bring it for everyone's discussion as well. So that's what we're going to do today. Very likely that the session today, we will start at right now like 3:30. We will end somewhere before 5 o'clock. Now, let me introduce the speaker of today first. Now, we have Daniel over there. Daniel Häggmark from he is actually, Daniel, say hi, Daniel. Okay, Daniel came from Sweden. Some might not know that he is actually more Malaysian than we are. Actually, he has been quite a number of years in Malaysia already. Okay, he has his family over here. He is located in Penang. So for those like me who doesn't know a lot about Penang food, where do you get it? Maybe Daniel, you can recommend as well. I don't know, but I know that Daniel always have home cooked food. Okay, very fortunate. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Daniel, I believe that you have been in the country for more than 13 years. Right now is staying over here in Penang, and he is the managing director for the monitor ERP system for the Southeast Asia. He brings to Malaysia the Swedish best practices. Now, again, a lot of people might not know Sweden very well. Beside that very nice scenery which I have just visited before the COVID time, and but Sweden, a lot of people doesn't know that Sweden has a very strong and successful manufacturing and industrial engineering sector. In Sweden, this sector actually accounts for 20% of the country's GDP, which is equal about the US 100 billion. 100 billion, not million, 100 billion, with advanced manufacturing bringing in approximately about 36 billion USD. So with that kind of experience, meaning that the technology, the experience in manufacturing, Monitor ERP is bringing all this experience from the Swedish country to Malaysia, and they have been advising and offering the solutions to many of the companies, including Atnesis today. And they actually have been able to understand Malaysian culture very well. As mentioned that Daniel has been here, and he has a team of about 30 to 50 people in Penang. I visited their office, a very nice office. I would love to work there as well. Waiting for a vacancy over there so that I can apply over there. Daniel, I'm hinting you already. Okay. Now, what we are going to do over here is that together with him, we also have our speakers from Atnesis Sdn Bhd. Atnesis, we have Mr. Neoh, the director. Mr. Neoh, say hi. And we also have Miss Cynthia Okay, Miss Cynthia, the engineering manager. Atnesis is a manufacturer of locking system, okay, in Malaysia, locking system in Malaysia, and has over a decade of experience in offering a broad spectrum of the magnetic locks. So we will get to know more about them later on and their journey towards the smart manufacturing. Now, let's get started with our forum. But before that, I just need to request everyone to first please turn on your video. Let us see you, because we would like to take a group photo first. It is our ritual that we will have to document that who have attended, at least that we can see the faces. We have engaged before, and next time when we meet each other in any meetings or any events, we will be able to say hello with a more friendly manner. So please turn on your camera, please, because my colleague will need to actually take a group photo. Penny, can you just coordinate on the photo taking? Thank you very much, Penny.
Yes. Oh, hi everyone, I'm Penny. Yeah, so please turn on your cam. Still a lot of pending to turn on. Yeah. So because we have few pages, so later when we have the group photos, so please keep your smile like around 30 seconds so that I can capture you. Because we are not sure whether you're on which page. Yeah.
Most of them already turned on the cam.
Yes.
I can see Suen, not yet. I can see Una, Rizan, Rosie, Cheng, 𝗲𝗍𝗄𝗁𝗀𝗄𝗁, 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗂𝗏𝗀𝗀, Eric Teo, Rosie, Wei Hong, Zinyi, Wei Min, HM, No Ayuni. Okay, please turn on your camera, please. Okay, Penny says that it's 30 seconds. Let's do it with more efficient. We do it in 15 seconds. Whenever you are ready, Penny.
Yes. All right. So we can. Okay. So let's do it. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay. First page done. Save the photo.
We are smiling because we always stay negative. Okay, a lot of people say that right now the positive words is very sensitive over here. So we should be happy that we are negative, not positive, okay? Not positive of the COVID-19.
Okay, second page done. Then last page. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Now, we are going to let Daniel to tell us more about today's topic, monitor ERP. I hope that Daniel can share with us some insights about the ERP, MES and OEE, because from my limited understanding, different solutions provider, different countries, different users, they have different terms for this OEE, MES, ERP, and so forth. And a lot of us are a little bit quite confused as well. So if can, then Daniel, you might want to share a little bit more with us on that. But before that, Daniel, I just would like to highlight something to share with everyone. Now, according to the Industry 4.0 Adoption Survey 2021 by Smart Forward, 46.2% does not know what Industry 4.0 technology relevant to their operation. So whether it's OEE, MES, ERP are relevant to them, and 37.34% uncertain whether their present equipment and machines are compatible with the Industry 4.0 technology, because quite a number of our Malaysian SMEs manufacturing the machines are already quite old. is it possible for us to still do some the industry 4, whether we have the equipment that compatible to actually get the data out and so forth. And please share more about that. And with SME limited budget, we cannot do everything. We can only prioritize what we wanted to do. So your sharing would be very much appreciated. What is more practical for the SMEs manufacturers? So I'll hand over the session to you, Daniel. Please welcome Daniel.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Nice. We got the chance to see many of you in the camera earlier. Easier to interact. All right. So as 𝗀𝗃𝗃 mentioned, we hope this will be a very interactive session, and I hope Atnesis will talk most. So I will keep it very short. I think many of those questions you just asked, I think Neoh and Cynthia are even better than me to answer on. So I think that will be great. I think I start with some short introduction of who we are. As some saw the video just before now, but some log in a bit later. So let me share my screen and I show some. You can see my screen now, I think.
Yes, we can.
Yes, good. All right. Very quickly, some background and a little bit what we hope to achieve today. ERP, MES and OEE all in one system. So as 𝗀𝗃𝗃 said, also for me, for us working in this, it is a bit, what do we mean when we talk ERP or MES and OEE, or is it the same? Or if I have OEE, I don't need ERP, and all of this, I feel it's a big confusion out there when we meet SMEs. So that is the main topic, and to get Atnesis to share about that, I think will be very interesting. Quick about Monitor. As 𝗀𝗃𝗃 said, we are from Sweden. Started 1974 as manufacturing consultancy firm. So we started on the shop floor, and then it became a software in the beginning of the 80s. And then we have developed our system for 45 years, one product to one type of customers. Same as you, manufacturing small, medium-sized companies. We are still headquartered in Sweden, but our headquarter for Southeast Asia is here in Malaysia. So I'm in Penang, so we have office in Penang and KL. We have around 5,000 customers globally, all in manufacturing in 30 countries. Malaysia is our biggest office outside of Sweden. We have around 100 customers in Malaysia, roughly. So we have a great team here. We have all that we need to serve our customers. Also, our customer support for Asia is based in Penang. So we have great, strong knowledge in Malaysia. Monitor is 100% manufacturing, developed for more than 40 years. So it become very standard, or it had been customized for 40 years, we can say, for companies like yourself. So that means zero customization. Maybe we can hear a little bit more about that later, because quite commonly people think you must customize the system to fit your processes. But we can configure to fit it. We should not customize it, which means it gets easier to implement and easy to use, more cost effective. Different industries, all kind of discrete manufacturing, I would say. Metal, machinery, plastic, electronics, a lot of automotive, mechanical, paper, wire harness, furniture, F&B. Anything that have a BOM and routing or a recipe or some processes. Those are our target companies. Some local references. Atnesis, of course, is one great example. I think we met 2017, 17, 16. Oh, never mind. I think you will hear more later. But many good local companies that we have been fortunate to work with. Many from Perodua here today I saw. So 𝗀𝗃𝗺𝗺 is maybe a nice one to mention. They have a currently have just went live with our system in a lighthouse project together with 𝗲𝗲𝗄𝗧 and 𝗲𝗲𝗄𝗺. So that have been a great success, I think I can say. Many plastic, many machining, CNC. I think normally companies that you recognize, I guess. What is ERP? I used to say, what is manufacturing ERP? Because ERP could be for retail, it could be for hotels, it could be for trading companies, logistic companies. So remember, it's a huge difference depending on what industry you are in. Manufacturing ERP should help you with everything that is important for you. Basically, the manufacturing, of course, the shop floor. That's where all your money is. The more efficient we can run your production, the more profitable, the more competitive you will be. We can't talk without it appears these triangles. All of you have done RA report, or many at least. It comes, normally the ERP comes in the top there. Then you see MES, SCADA, different things further down. But a manufacturing ERP has to cover most of this triangle. So on the top, of course, the management level, then the operational level, process, control, all the way down to the shop floor. Because if we don't have the shop floor in the system, it will be very difficult to see any benefits. Am I done with my laser cutting? How am I running in my grinding? Have I sent it to painting? How much time do I spend? What is our cycle time? What was our plan time? If we don't have this in the system, we can't run costings and all of that. We can't plan our business good enough. So a manufacturing ERP should cover all the way down to the shop floor. It's not a separate system in the shop floor, if possible. So there are systems that can cover everything. So especially for SMEs, I think that is extremely important. Of course, all the way to customer suppliers, how do we communicate with them? So in your RA reports, I think it's a lot of horizontal, vertical integration and so on. It is a lot of information, sales order, purchase order, we receive goods, we do QC inspection, we do material picking, we produce, we replan, we check capacity, we deliver, we invoice, we follow up with the finance. So all of this should be in your manufacturing ERP. It should not be scattered around in different systems. It makes it complicated and costly. Since a lot of, I said I should not talk too much, but just since so many RA I saw in the, many of you have gone through the RA procedure. So typically when we read those and when we help our customers to read your RA report and prepare for this technical proposal, which eventually will reach Keng Tech and the guys up there, very often we can't see machine efficiency. We don't have OEE. Delivery rating used to come up. On-time delivery data is not available. Capacity planning. How do we utilize our machines? Production planning. Quite often it says current ERP is not capable of automating the generation of production plans, production status, and so on. So just some examples. All these things, inventory tracking, horizontal integration, product linkage with parameters, link drawings and all of that, business intelligence, good analytic data. All that can be covered in one manufacturing ERP. So when they mention MES, it could be, most of the time it's ERP they mention, or they mean actually. I thought it was some for MPC and maybe my MEMOs here too, but quite often it says MES. You need MES to have control of this. But what we are actually talking about is a manufacturing system that covers all you need, basically. If we call it ERP or MES, doesn't really matter. But This is another typical, when we see this, we get quite scared, I think, costly. But basically it's one system. And if you want to connect machines, we do it directly to the system. It's not different systems. We don't need to have integrators. This is how it can look like. Some examples. This I stole actually from Atnesis, sorry. But then you have, of course, you have dashboards, OEE, if you run all the way down to OEE, but this can be in one system to analyze your data very well. I think that's all. One thing, 𝗫𝗫𝗃, this I didn't tell you before, but since we're going to talk about the system now for 1 hour maybe, I thought very quickly as what we're talking about. So this is how our system looked like. So here I have a dashboard. First of all, I have my modules up here: manufacturing, purchase, sales, stock, time recording for shop floor, accounting. All that we need in a manufacturing company inside here. With the focus on manufacturing, BOM and routing, level list, material list, measurement forms, costing, of course, pre-calculation, post-calculation. We do our job orders, we print pick list, we check loading plans, we do priority planning. All these things is in one system. It's not in a separate MES or a separate warehouse system or barcode system. It's in one system. So if I'm interested in finance, I can have that here. I have my loading plan here. I have my sales, I have my delivery liability, and different things. And it's interactive. If I am a planner, I want to see more of the loading plan maybe. Then I come in and look closer. Now my computer was, there it came. So then here I get great understanding directly. I can see my laser cutting is a bit overloaded, it seems like. I have 90 hours in lag, for example. Just so you got the picture, this is what Atnesis is using. So when they talk later, this is how their days look like. If you're a purchaser, sales, production, doesn't matter. This is where they log in. That was more than enough, maybe. Was it any question that you asked before that I should answer, maybe? Or we take it during the dialogue, I think.
I think we will take it during the dialogue,
Yeah,
Daniel.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Now, what I understand from Daniel, what I just said, okay, ERP would cover most of the area from the business operation to your manufacturing operation. And as I mentioned previously last time, that I learned from a fellow solution provider and told me that Industry 4 is just as simple as the matching the IT and the OT is convergence between of the IT and the OT, the information technology and the operation technology. Now, the ERP over here would be able to connect the different areas or the different application system so that you can have a single view, because I think that in all the manufacturing companies, we need to have an overview of what is happening in our operation and in our business. Without one, we won't be able to make a very sound decision. And that's where that we wanted to know a little bit more in terms of the experience from the Atnesis later on. But before we do that, Daniel has spoken in terms of what is ERP. I let another of our friend, our very friendly friend over here, who most of you all know him, to tell you what is ERP. Tim, can we have the video, please?
many you need? 10. Can. By when? Huh? 10. Don't worry, we got so much supplies. Okay, bye. Boss, I got some good news. This is the biggest order we have ever received. but they need it by the end of the month. I need 1,000 sets of jigsaw puzzles by the end of the month. Say you can do it, please. Wait. I need to check on the lead time with the vendors, and then the production capacity, and then hold up. I need to calculate the pre-calculation costings for this order. I mean, the price that we quoted for was from 5 years ago. I need to know what it costs today, now. And then we need to check whether we got material to make all the production. And don't get me started on OT and labor costs. How much do I have to budget for that? Oh, and the production overheads, and the machines, and the subcon costings. Oh, these things don't fly down for free, girlfriend. And then the customer marah, hey, you don't blame me, The numbers just don't make sense. Tell me, how many hours of overtime do we need to successfully fulfill this order by the end of the month? 100 hours? 1,000 hours? More? I told you to fill up and organize all the paperwork. Look what you've gotten done. I don't have the answers. Don't look at me. Boss, how? I don't know. Hey, why you all look so worried? You've never heard of the Monitor ERP system? What is an ERP system? Well, it's a platform that connects all the different departments and machines to a single source of truth. Wow, the force is strong on this one. Take, for example, this jigsaw puzzle company. So let's say each of the departments holds one piece of the puzzle needed to complete an entire puzzle board. So, for example, if James doesn't tell Sherry or Daniel which or what piece he's holding, then Sherry is going to have problems with the budget and the costing, and then Daniel will have issues with the delivery and the timeline. So by communicating each piece of the puzzle with each other, you are then completing the puzzle board in a shorter time and more efficiently. As Bruce Lee says, be like water. Monitor ERP is a complete ERP system for the manufacturing industry. Monitor streamlines your core supply chain and processes through 6 key modules: manufacturing, purchase, sales, stock, time recording, and accounting, covering every activity that takes place in your manufacturing company. So, why an ERP system? With a fully integrated system like Monitor, you can now take full control of your supply chain, inventory, production, and planning. It's like getting married. She takes control of everything. But I digress. Monitor is a hole-in-one system, not a golf hole-in-one. It's a hole-in-one system that your manufacturing company needs. All you need to do is tell the system what you need, and the system will automate for you. The system will also provide suggestions if you run into a problem to ensure you get what you want when you need it. Yes, and you don't need to worry anymore. With little or no need for customization, this will ensure it's cost-effective over time, easy to implement, and easy to support in one complete standard integrated system. You will have control over your entire business. Less hassle, no worries, just strictly business when you have the best ERP system for all your processes. Less hassle, no worries, strictly business. Why does that guy look so familiar? Oh, and he's so good looking. Huh? Like that you call handsome? Yo, you need glasses. What do you know? Oh, hello.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Harith, for explaining to us what is ERP. And I would think that there's a Daniel, there's Sherry, there's James, there's all these names in your company over there, in each of your company. And I believe that some of you face similar issues in the company. But today we are very glad that we are able to invite 2 very distinguished speakers from Atnesis Sdn Bhd. We have Mr. CL Neoh and also Miss Cynthia Khaw. Now, they would actually share with us their experience in onboarding to the smart manufacturing journey. Now, before we start, let me invite Mr. Neoh. Mr. Neoh, can you just briefly brief us what does your company do and what makes you think of embarking into the Industry 4.0 or the smart manufacturing journey? Mr. Neoh.
Hello. Yeah, I think Daniel should show me this 𝗲𝗲𝗻𝗂𝗺𝗃 video way back in maybe 4 or 5 years back, so that I can go jump in straight into the monitor rather than having another ERP, then after that switching to monitor. Okay. Okay. Let me introduce myself. My name is Neoh. I'm from this company, Atnesis. Actually, to give you some background of this company, actually we start off with a very, very small setup, like maybe 10%, and eventually we grow to a size of 200 over employees today. So you can imagine the kind of scenarios that 𝗲𝗲𝗻𝗂𝗺𝗃 is explaining. We went through that totally and more painfully. Okay, so okay, when the operation getting more complex, much more people working together every day, they bound to have a lot of conflicts, unclear instructions, and that is when we start to look at is there any solution in the market that is suitable for our operations. That's why we identify ERP is something that we want to have. So eventually we start off with an ERP and get the consultant to advise us, and we just following, because we are for your information, actually I'm not a manager by profession. I'm actually an engineer by profession. So we don't know anything about management. And the management is something that we learn throughout the process of growing. Okay, maybe like some of you, or maybe few of you. So we identify ERP is one thing that we need to have in order to smoothen our operations. Then we start off to ask around, ask friends, and ask about whoever that is using an ERP, and we try to compare price, and we get on to a ERP. But it is a good decision to start off with an ERP, but unfortunately we start off without a shop floor. So after operating this ERP for some, maybe about 2 years, we find that we need a shop floor. So that is the time that we start to look at something beyond the shop floors that we might need. Rather than we go along the way, then we find out that we need this and that. So we try to search around, see what are the more comprehensive solutions that we can have, ERP solutions that have more complete solutions. Then we start to look around, and happens that when we are in an exhibition, we met with monitor, and after went through all the questionnaires, I think we have how many questions? How many questions that we?
It was quite a long Excel list, I remember. But I think you were quite fast.
I think we have about 400 over questionnaire.
Yeah. So these questions basically not come from me, but it come from the process owner. It comes from our store, it comes from our purchasing, it comes from our production floor, it comes from our finance, and this is how we want it to be, because at the end, it's not me that use the software. It's the process owner that use the software. The ERP should answer to this, to answer to the process owner, not answer to me. As long as the process owner is good, they feel comfortable, then you should go for ERP. And I think Monitor past that stages, and then we embark on Monitor ERP. Okay, so why we want to have ERP? Basically, as a manufacturing company, is as easy as cost. The cost is our main concern. The cost, the quality, and the delivery. I think for manufacturing company, basically these are the three things that of our concern mainly. I suppose that is true over the industry. Okay, so and we went through the journey. We went through until today. We go slowly, one module by one module, and until today, we have the ERP integrated to the machines, and we have our manufacturing order to. That means everything that we do on the production floor, it has to have a manufacturing order, whereby this manufacturing order actually tracks our cost, our material, and our labor, delivery as well. So it is very well that cover our needs. Yeah, and there is some other benefits actually come along with the ERP, like of course, there will be resistance. There will be a lot of hurdles they are getting from production. But the benefits that we can see is we get nearer to the bottom production people. There's no gap in between the management and the production floor. There's very little gap. So we are able to communicate very well. Yeah.
Mr. Neoh, I saw from some of my research and what I have been briefed is that just now you mentioned about the benefit just now. And I recorded over here is somewhere that you have been able to reduce the inventory value by 60% and 99% on the stock. And you can achieve 99% on stock accuracy. And also you able to reduce the stock take time from 4 days to half days. All these are with the result of after you have adopted the ERP for your smart manufacturing journey?
Yeah. I should say that the ERP actually provide a very good because before this, we have a lot of departments, they run their Excel to control everything. Now we have a centralized information. That means it is as simple as an item. Let's say this item, okay. Before this item, we call it a name because the vendor call it this name, a remote controller. And then after that, when it goes to the production call it a Panasonic. They call it a Panasonic aircon controller. Okay, so when you want to do a stock take to calculate this cost, because this is an asset in the company. So when we want to take in the value of this asset, we have to do an Excel table to actually to link this different description to the cost, which is only one cost, but we have different solution, different description. So the basic things to have is like, I agree with what Daniel says. You need to have a center truth, which is the centralized information. Before you can have OEE, before you can have MES, or before you can have automation in your factory, it has to have a common language in your company first. And this ERP system very much giving us this the whole structures of getting to centralize our information. It is a common language in our company.
Yeah, when there's a different system speaking different languages, then it will not be integrated. Your information won't be accurate. Now, then I would like to ask. Now, this is all the nice, very rosy things that you have shared. That ERP able to help you this, able to help you that. But frankly, a lot of the SMEs are still facing the challenges on implementing it. Yes, ultimately it would benefit you, but during the implementation side, a lot of SMEs face a lot of challenges. Now, maybe I would like to pose this question to Cynthia over here. Cynthia, you're the engineering manager. Now, what kind of the challenges that you would face in moving your companies or your operations? Just now, Mr. Neoh mentioned that some of them is in Excel format, some of them might be different system, and then to move towards smart manufacturing, what are the challenges that you face with, in your operation while you're trying to adopt Industry 4.0 technology? You can share some of your thoughts, Cynthia.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cynthia. I'm from Atnesis. I'm actually the project manager for the entire ERP implementation. Now, the hurdles, I think the biggest challenge that we faced in Atnesis, it was fear. Everyone was talking, if you give me this system and it doesn't work, how am I going to run my production? How I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that. I think that is the biggest challenge that we encounter, the fear. And the second thing is the reluctancies of people to accept changes. You know, to move from one culture to another culture, it requires time and efforts. And for them is, I already have this system, I'm running my Excel perfect. Why you want to come and disturb me, you know? Why do I need to change? We've been running so well, you know, for the past 12 years, Atnesis is running on a pivot table Excel, you know. Then, you know, with the challenges that we face in the business world now, you can't just based on Excel pivot table to run your production planning, you know, to schedule your deliveries, you know, to feedback to your customer on what will be the ETD that they're expecting, you know. So mostly I think it's on people's mindset, you know. It is very, very difficult to change a person's mindset to accept especially new things. So
Cynthia, I also want to ask you now. The thing is that just now, Mr. Neoh mentioned that you were engineers. You do not know much about Industry 4.0. You do not know who to look for. Now, and Mr. Neoh mentioned that we need ERP. But the thing is that a lot of the SMEs doesn't even know what system or what technology do they need, because King Tech always go for this, all this web forum, the media always mention about Industry 4.0, MPC says that we got the readiness assessment, everyone is talking about Industry 4.0, but I do not know what's the heck of Industry 4.0, what is it relevant for me? And if I wanted to start the journey, what kind of technology relevant to us? As I mentioned just now, there are 40% of them doesn't know what technology that is relevant to them. How would you actually start to look for relevant technology? How do you know what kind of technology that you need? How do you identify that?
When we started in Atnesis, we began to face difficulty, especially in, like what Mr. Neoh said, the languages that we use. There is no standard languages or terms that we use in the company. Engineering, we call it name A, you know, purchasing, we call it another name, production, we call it another name, you know, supplier coming with another name, you know. So end up, we found out that it is time for us to do a consolidation. A consolidation, that means we go to standardize all the name and standardize the methods. Because for example, like when we go to production say, oh, I'm using the words instruction. This is the drawing that we have. This is the spec that we have. This is the process that we want to follow. But then at the end of the day, you know, the person or the work center that are using the document, it could be already an obsolete documentation, you know. So that is the thing that happened in our company. The other one is there is a lot of conflicts. There is a lot of pinpointing. Hey, you're supposed to do it. And no, this is not my job, you know. Oh, no, this is not my problem. You know, it's their problem. So when you have all this kind of, you know, the harmonies of the working environment is going downward, you know. So that is where, you know, the management decided that we need to consolidate, we need to bring in all the data together, to have one language, to have one method, and share out throughout the entire organization.
And the answer is to get an ERP.
The best solution that we, at the end, we found out that it is ERP. So when we go on board on ERP, we go, you know, like Mr. Neoh said, we go without the shop floor, you know, which I think, you know, so far we have shared with many companies. A lot of companies started with ERP, that with sales order, purchasing, planning, inventory, you know, and accounting. And they always start off the shop floor the last. And through the experience, you know, that we have with 2 ERP that we onboard, we actually have to start off with manufacturing order first. We have to start off from shop floor first, because shop floor is actually the heart of the entire information that you need, you know, to pump back to the, like, for example, to pump back to the MRP, pump back to the sales, pump back to finance, you know, purchasing and so on. So to start off an ERP, the best way to do it is start off with the manufacturing floor. The shop floor is...
Cynthia, to start off with the manufacturing first, wouldn't it be what? Because I read quite a number of the the readiness assessment report. Okay, quite a number of them that you start from the manufacturing side, meaning that you should start from like what Daniel has mentioned, the MES. A lot of the report actually named as the manufacturing execution system to start off with the shop floor. But right now you already mentioned that, hey, we start off with the top of the triangle, which is the ERP side. So what's your opinion or what's your comment about that? Wouldn't it be the MES that we should start off with, or the monitor ERP so superbly great that they have the functions of the MES as well? I'm not too sure.
Based on our experience, I think monitor ERP already has the minimal requirement that we need in order for us to kick off, because they already have the so-called you know, the market is so-called MES, you know. So like, for example, like when we embark on the manufacturing shop floor, we be able to connect our machine. You know, some machine is not a legend machine, but it's quite an old machine. But we be able to interface the machine, you know, connect to our ERP to collect, you know, our real-time data, you know, for example, like our bomb cycle time, is it our plan versus actual time, is it correct or not? You know, what are the quantity that we produce, and what are the bad quantity that we produce that day itself, you know, and the machine idle time, you know. So for me is you know, with the ERP, regardless what ERP in the market, but for us is we are with monitor ERP. The so-called MES condition is already factored into it.
Okay. Now, before I ask further questions, while we're having a dialogue, please, for everyone over here, please put in your questions. Now, today's discussion for every of the Smart Forward web forum, the intention is to clarify doubts, to get clarity in terms of how do we actually start our journey. There's no questions that is so naive to ask and so forth. We are here all together to learn together. So please put in your questions or put in your doubts, put in your challenges, so that maybe Atnesis or maybe Monitor ERP would be able to give you some recommendation or some suggestion for you to pursue in your smart manufacturing journey. Now, I want to put the other questions to Daniel first before I pick up some of the questions in the chat box. Daniel, in my early years of my career, I have been in the IT company before, but I'm not in the technical person. I'm in the marketing side, and there are a lot of IT people say, "Oh, ERP, whatever." And always when I hear the ERP, a lot of people are very afraid because they say, "Oh, you are going for ERP. Careful, no? It will cost you a bomb," and so forth. Now, is ERP really that expensive? Can the SME really can afford to have it? Because what the fear is that I already spent few 100,000 ringgit, but I don't see the return of ROI. For SMEs, ROI is very, very important. We don't have enough extra cash to spend. So maybe Daniel, you would like to help us on that.
Yeah, I guess again, what system you go for. Definitely there are big ERP systems out there for, I mean, massive MNCs type of companies, and there are ERPs that can cover most industries. So I think, and there are also other systems that call themselves ERP that is basically a simple finance system maybe. So I guess what Cynthia explained, try to find something that fits your need and your size. Don't bring in a big dragon that maybe is famous branded, but normally miss the, first of all, they are not used to the SMEs. It is different to come to an SMEs compared to an MNC to do implementation, all of this, the language, the internal politics and stuff. But there are strong complete manufacturing ERPs for SMEs. So inside there, it is all functions they need. So for now, when you ask Cynthia about MES, for example, I asked you before too, before you joined. If I ask you MES, then you're like, we don't have MES. What do you mean? And then I say, yeah, but you have job order, production planning, capacity planning, traceability, shop floor control, inventory, WIP value. That is one part of people call MES. Of course, you have other MES when you talk about signals or temperatures or pressures from machine. But the core in MES is these things: job orders, planning, stock, scan barcode to report output. But this is what exists inside manufacturing ERP, or in my world it must be in the ERP. So Daniel, no, I didn't ask a cost maybe, but
sorry. Daniel, let me cut you off there. I'm sorry, because the thing is that is why that the SMEs, the adoption on the Industry 4.0 are so slow, because the SME has been approached by so many solutions provider. Okay, we wanted to, from the perspective of SME, we have been approached by so many solution provider. They will come to the SME and say that, hey, Mr. Yap, you should go for ERP. Hey, Mr. Yap, you should go for MES. Hey, Mr. Yap, you could go for what IoT, robotic, what machine training. But the thing is that SMEs are beginning to be so confused that do not know what to do anymore. So that's why that we need a more clarity from there. Now, I would like to turn my questions to Mr. Neoh first. Mr. Neoh, now, I'm sure that Cynthia is the one who made the recommendation, and you are the one who said, yes, let's go for it. Okay. Now, to the question of affordability of the ERP first, coming to that. Okay. Daniel cannot talk about pricing over here because I told Daniel that Daniel no selling, so he cannot tell about pricing, but you can. Okay. Now, but you can. for all the speakers over here, I always say that, well, we are here to share, we are not here to sell. So Daniel, do not dare to sell right now. So I ask you, Neoh, now,
Okay.
Does it really make the ROI sense? How do you actually sure that investment into this monitor ERP really brings you the ROI?
Yeah, I think this is the common questions that the industry is asking, even for myself, for the whole company, for the board of directors. These are the questions that we need to answer. So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, we've gone through a lot of due diligence processes to look for solutions and to compare prices. Of course, functionality is the first thing that we look at, because we know that it doesn't matter, because even there is some ERP that's going for free. So you know that there is some ERP that is offering for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. But this is totally, to me, the logic is not there, because you need not only the software. It's just like you buy a car. If nobody asks you to drive the car, then the car might be a car, but it doesn't deliver the purpose of it. So when you have an ERP, you need somebody to actually guide you through. It's not that to buy something that you test on your own. You see, because especially for a small company like us, we have not actually tested so many things like we have today. It's because that maybe we are lucky, we choose on the right platform to go for, and then slowly one by one we implement, and this is how we get to the situation that we have today. Today I'm able to work from home. Today I'm in the work from home mode. Okay, I'm able to actually approve the PO. I'm actually able to approve the invoices that is going for payment. I see the activities. I see my machines working from home. So this is something that I cannot imagine maybe 4 years back. Okay, so we don't have that expectation even in the early stage of the implementation. But it so happens that we slowly explore into the ERP that we have. We slowly explore into it, and this is our journey. Okay, maybe I would not want to elaborate so on this, because it'll be very lengthy. Okay, going back to the
ROI side.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Going back to the question that you're asking, the ROI. Okay. Of course, the first thing is to get the budget. Okay. So when we see the monitor ERP offering, it is actually because the way that monitor ERP is selling is not like you buy a module. Okay, you don't buy a module. Okay, you pay for the licenses. Okay. And this I'm not sure whether that is still the offering from Daniel, but during our time we don't buy modules. Sorry, Daniel, if let's say
No, it's correct. It's correct. So what he mean is you can buy one license, since you have the full system.
Yes,
Same as if I buy 100 users. So if I'm 10 people in my company, I could start with 1 user if I want, and have the same system as a big
so
one.
That still stay, isn't it? That still stay.
Yeah, correct. Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the initial investment, because sometimes a small company like us, if you tell us we need to spend $500,000, we'll actually run away. We actually shy away from this decision. But if you tell me that I need to spend maybe 10,000–15,000 to actually try out something, I want to try. Because if let's say I'm paying 30,000 to try the full functionality of an ERP system, I want to try. that is something that actually brings us to choose ERP, to choose Monitor ERP as well. Because to tie that ROI, to me, I would have to be a person responsible for the company. I have to be answerable to the investment that we make. But if we don't go through the journey, how I'm going to answer to the ROI? This is very initial stage of the implementation of ERP. But eventually, what we experience is like we see a 40% reduction in the inventory. So in terms of ROI, it is very easily to calculate, because let's say your inventory is 10 million, you have 40% saving in inventory. That is about 4 million. So when you calculate the interest, and this can be easily paid off the ERP itself. So in terms of ERP, we along the way, after we see this, we don't have to answer so many questions to the board of directors, because the ERP actually, the software itself actually paid off itself.
Okay.
This is just one aspect of the ERP, what the ERP can bring us, the benefit of it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Neoh. I think that I think Mr. Neoh brought out very good point over here, is that now the thing is that what I understand from Mr. Neoh is that when they started off with the ERP system, okay, their expectations are quite minimal, just to have a basic needs to be taken care of, consistent. But when they have actually adopted it, along the way, more and more benefits that they can actually experience it. And as what we say always is that to embark into the Industry 4.0 journey, the smart manufacturing journey, it's not an end in itself. You're not buying a technology just to use it the same way, the same amount of time, or the same usage for several years. But it is actually something that will grow together with your business. So it is very much important for us to acknowledge that it is a journey, a learning journey together with your technology service provider, which if Ms. Neoh and Cynthia has been able to tell so much about Monitor ERP, I'm sure that they are very satisfied with the services that they have offered, because they also mentioned that to get any solutions is not only about the technology, it's also about the support, about the guidance, about the consulting part that comes with it. Now, I would like to pick up, because there were some questions over there before I asked too many questions and neglected the questions from the participants. Let me ask some questions over here first. Now, let's take the questions from Rosie Hamza first. Okay, Rosie Hamza says, few of our vendors already bought ERP system 4 to 6 years ago. However, they only use it for few modules only, such as inventory and purchasing. The rest of modules is not utilized at all, and they still paid the yearly fees very high. Okay, now everyone is talking about real-time data, etc. What is the best option for them? Kindly advise. Now, I believe that for Rosie, they have a lot of, the company is quite big, that they have a lot of vendors already. And these vendors either buy or sell from them. And having the ERP system would also build the relationship, better business relationship with them. And there are vendors over here that they have already bought the ERP so long already, and they're still paying the same thing, but they are not using every module. So what's your advice? Maybe Daniel, you would like to advise, should they actually talk to their technology service provider to change the modules that they need, change the package they need, or they would just actually throw it out and then get a new one that is more scalable? Or should they actually purchase one, or they go for the SaaS model, software as a service model? Now, because not every SMEs would use all the modules, okay, and that is very, very common in our industry. In SMEs. So, but a lot of companies, they offer a lot, I'm not using it, but well, it's just like McDonald's. I always like to use the analogy. I buy a McDonald's value meal. I want the burger, I want the drink, but I do not want the fries. I'm sorry, sir. This is a value meal. This is a set meal. It comes with a fries. If you do not want the fries, just throw it away. Okay, but we will charge you the same. Now, what would be your advice, Daniel?
I guess it depends what system they have, but and again, I mean, normally it doesn't come with unlimited things, at least if you buy a system that is for your industry. So if you buy a system for manufacturing, it will be functions there that is built for manufacturing. We wouldn't sit and build something that is good for retail, for example. So, and I guess if the system they have is not strong enough for manufacturing, which is quite common, if, again, like Cynthia and Neoh have mentioned, if the shop floor is not there, that means you cannot run MRP properly, for example, because you don't know what's happening in the shop floor. I don't know what I have in WIP. I don't know where is my finished good done or not. So when you start to run MRP, also the purchasing cannot utilize the system good enough, because we don't know what we have moved out to the production floor yet, and so on. We think we have it in stock, but maybe someone took it last week and it's still in some Excel somewhere. Same goes with sales. When sales get the question from the customer, can you deliver tomorrow? They don't know, because the manufacturing is not in the system. So, and so it all ties together. If you remove the manufacturing from your ERP system, if you're a manufacturing company, then you can't utilize the other modules as well, basically. So you end up, like in this case, maybe a very expensive Excel kind of, or because you use it to print invoices, to print orders, to create P&L and balance sheet maybe, but you don't use it to really help you to plan everything good, material, production, all of that. And that is what, I think that's when you see the benefit.
If I may summarize what Daniel mentioned over there. Now, the thing is that, Rosie, your vendors might be only using the inventory and purchasing module. For me, it is just for the reporting purposes. But when we are moving towards the Industry 4.0, it's very much of knowing what is happening, predicting what is going to happen, and having a preemptive measures to react to what is going to happen. Now, to do this, definitely the modules that have been prepared by the solution provider have the functions that they serve. Maybe I think it's because that these companies will offer your vendors the solution, only provide them with the technology, but not without the guidance, without the consulting, without the coaching them on how to maximize the system, which there are a lot of the SMEs have actually feedback that, hey, I have the system and so forth, but I'm not using it. But not using it, is it because that it is not useful, or is it that you do not know how to use it for the best benefit? Now, if you do not know how to use it for the best benefit, then I would think that the solution provider has the responsibility to explain to you, not only in terms of what the technology can do, but how the technology can relate to your business growth. I think that is very important. Maybe Neoh or Cynthia, anything to add on that? If not, I'll go to the next question.
I would add in some scenario that happened to us. We onboard two systems before, so we have the situation like some of the audience asked. I have a system, but we don't use it. We only use it like for purchasing or inventory only. The rest we don't use it. Now, the best thing to do it, like what we are doing at the moment, this is just sharing. Yeah, we will go to the user to understand what are the needs, what are the bottlenecks that they face. Is it they don't understand the system, do not know how to use it, or they want to have this, but system won't be able to generate for them. You see, so by understanding the situation, it's because of people problem or is it because of the system problem? So if they can identify this, then they will know, you know, if it's a system problem, then they have to go back to the service provider. But if it's due to the people problem, then they have to probably, you know, call in for further training, or they may need to have a pilot team. Over here in our Atnesis, we have a pilot team to run this ERP. We call it super user. So we have about 5 of them, and they will be always on the testing server, you know, environment to test anything that they want to use, the function that they want to use. So they will test it. After they test it, they feel that it's okay, then they will start to share out this information to all the users, you know, in the company. So we will like have a checklist to check, you know, every month we'll have actually a KPI meeting, you know, on ERP KPI meeting. So every department have to highlight their problems and the challenges that they face, the problem that they face within other department, you know, so all need to be presented during that meeting. So then we solve the problem step by step. When initially we run our ERP system, when we go live, our planning department MRP was not on board with us. So we are running a MRP system, and we are running without a sales modules as well. So we purely run on manufacturing module. So after that, you know, you start to enroll and to check with them what are the difficulty or challenges. Sometimes they just feel difficult to explain, or maybe I explain, you could not understand. Then if you know, get scolded or what, so people are shy from all these kind of approaches. So in our environment, we normally practice collective agreement, you know, because ERP is not you implement, then that's it, it's end ready, you know. When you implemented ERP, it is actually the beginning of the journey only. You just start the baby step only. You see, over 4 years that we use monitor ERP system, we discover a lot of function, tested a lot of function along the way, okay? And as today, we even, our people, you know, especially the super user, they even can test out using manufacturing order to convert it to be, you know, to trace our technicians' servicing time. That means because these people are the people who roaming in the factory without control, because they based on tickets to work. So what we do is we convert our normal ticketing, we call it a maintenance request form. We convert into a maintenance manufacturing order in our ERP system. And with the material that they need to withdraw, it is all entered. They need, when they go to service the job, they need to clock in. When they finish, they have to clock out. The user, the so-called the internal customer, have to bite off the service job that's done by them. And then the administrative will start calculate, you know, 1 month, how much has been spent on machine, on facilities, on jigs and fixtures, how many man hours that spent, you know, for the service job that they carry out. So it is more on enrollment and encouragement when you want to onboard on the ERP, and you need to have a pilot team to monitor all these activities. In our working environment, we have about 5 super users. They are the one who always test it out and then deploy, test, deploy, test, deploy.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's important. Some people. Yeah, thank you very much, Cynthia. It's very important for us to have the people, to have a dedicated team to continuously to engage with the system as well, to find the best use of the system. And in different years, different operations time, you find out new problems for you to solve. Now, Kate Lim asked a similar question over here is that we started ERP system since 2 years ago and only using a few modules like inventory, sales, and purchasing. We would like to engage into production module now. Is there any tip for us? Are we in the reverse way? I think that what Kate Lim is supposed to do is that later on, what you can do is that you leave down your contact. Maybe later on, monitor ERP, you can send someone to actually contact them to advise them on that. Now, over here, I need to skip few questions and take this first because very seldom that I get the companies from the East Malaysia side. Dealing from this CTE for East Malaysia SME, okay, prompt and effective support from ERP supplier is a concern, especially when starting implementation, when need constant education on shop floor staff. So for East Malaysia SME, what is monitor ERP experience? Now, what they are saying is that, well, she acknowledged, okay, or Dylan is acknowledged that you want to implement ERP, yeah, we're going to implement. But a lot of times, because they are located in the East Malaysia, somewhat they were neglected in terms of their support level. And for monitor ERP, what would be experience? Do you really give the support to the East Malaysia companies, SMEs as well? How do you do that? How effective do you do that? Maybe Daniel, you can share.
We don't have any people in East Malaysia yet. We have customers, though. We have just implemented in HighCom Automotive in Pekan, for example. Next week we go for a roadshow in Terengganu. So, but yes, in terms of support, I mean, everything happened online basically after go live, I would say, unless there is additional training, or I mean, we still need to go and maybe implement some more functions later. But how often are we to Atnesis? Few times per year, maybe maximum. I go there sometimes, but in terms of training and support wise, customer support is never on site, I would say. On site is consultation, or if you want to run training sessions. If any issues, then you call or email our support center and they connect and run a remote desktop and so on. So we have customers in 30 countries and we have presence in 6-7 countries maybe. So we support India and Australia from here, for example. So yes, Malaysia is fine. We can drive there in a few hours. So it's no problem. Yeah.
I have the opportunity to visit the Monitor ERP office last week when myself together with 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗏, we went for the 𝗀𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗲𝗀𝗃 for a roadshow to promote the industry forward. And I have the opportunity to visit the Monitor ERP and they have a dedicated support team, support desk that whichever customer they have within Malaysia or the Southeast Asia, they have the online support team that through the phone, they'll go through the system, they can actually view what is happening and so forth. So a lot of things are already able to done remotely. And if Dylan, you are talking about the training and so forth, for your information, if you are actually have already gone through the industry forward readiness assessment, you have the opportunity to actually send your people to go for training, which is fully subsidized, 100% subsidized by the government, which is from the HRD Corp. So the program is called Rise Forward. So if you need any information of that, do contact me. My team, please put in my contact over here. Then you can contact me. I can actually brief you about the Rise Forward program that enable you to actually upskill and reskill your team on that. Okay, time is running short right now. Let me get a few more questions over here. Now, Jessica Lam. Jessica is from Penn, right? A very close friend of mine. She has a question over here. I have the impression that if I start MES first, okay, again, it's about MES and ERP again. Okay, I have impression that if I start MES first, as in the shop floor first, it might create a lot of chaos because there will be a lot of changes in terms of SOP. Shouldn't be what? Because you shouldn't change your process. Is the system supposed to accommodate your process? Based on your experience, is this true? Training on 4 staff plays an important role on this, right? Definitely is right. Now, her question is that, based on your experience, is this true that they should, if they start with MES first, they will create a lot of chaos? What do you think? I think that maybe Cynthia will be the best person to answer that. So they are saying, should I start? They are thinking of starting MES first, but starting MES from the shop floor first, they might feel that there's a lot of chaos. What do you think? Or it shouldn't be?
What the audience say is true. The fear is always there. We also have the same fear, but then at the end it proves us wrong. Okay. Now to start off with your shop floor first is actually the best. That is where they will track back to know that whether your inventory accuracy is there or not, your BOM routing is correct or not, your operation is correct or not, you know, the material that you use is correct or not. That is the best, and in fact, is the best way to do housekeeping. To start a monitor ERP, you would not want to start with a so-called perfect data that you think that is all correct. You know, then only I key into the system, then I can start my ERP. That doesn't work. Okay. For me, is we started with only mainly 5 bombs. When we go live with only 5 bombs. Okay. And during the go live, we get our people to migrate, key in the data, and that is where the housekeeping progress started. And during the first month of go live, it took us 3 months to get our stock accuracy back from 81% to 85% during the first month. And second month, from 5%, it jumped out to 90%. And from that month onwards until 6 months, the pilot team managed the whole situation and hand over to the store with the accuracies of 98%.
Wow.
So you have to do it. Don't bother about your data accuracy, your BOM. You know, we always have quarrel and argument. People say your BOM is not accurate. You give us, allow me to say this word, you know, you give us shit, you know, BOM, this and that. But at the end, you know, it is the best time for the engineering to tidy up everything. And today, there's nobody complain about BOM problem. Nobody complain about drawing have problems. It is everything all up into the system. Your specs, your drawings, your work instructions, your related document SOP, it is all up ready. So
okay.
Pointing. The best is if you got a very messy database that you have, just go ahead and do it. Be brave and then go. I encourage you to go.
Okay, great. Now, there is 2 questions over here. I will help to answer one of them, and I leave the final one to Daniel. Yeah, Daniel, I allow you to do the sales over there because she is asking about monitor ERP. Let me answer the PCT questions first. He's asking, most SME company, either small or medium size, are interested to know whether ERP system with its standard modules integration with finance, distribution, manufacturing before we apply for industry forward fund or grant to MITI followed by MPC. Its related authority assesses and final process to MIDA on ERP system proposal to fund committees get approval. Now, and also he continued with the question with, is there a list of ERP solution provider approved by MITI or MIDA or MPC that allow SME company to select? Now, let me answer you this. If you are applying for the industry forward intervention fund, okay, basically there's no standard ERP that you can apply. Now, again, what the committee would actually look at is that will the system, whether it's ERP, MES, or whatever, will the system be able to give you value in terms of increasing your productivity, whether you'll be able to generate data for you to make business decisions, for you to be more competitive. That it is, okay? It's all about using different kind of the industry 4.0 technology to give you more data for you to actually to improve your process, your people, and your technology, and so forth, to be able to market yourself better and to be able to save costs as well. So there's no standard things, there's no approved service provider, there's none. If you still need some more list of the service provider, you can go to 𝗵forward. Okay, you can go to 𝗵forward. So I will go for the last question. Oh, suddenly got another question. Let me ask this question first. I'm sorry, the time is 5 o'clock. I just need to have answered the 2 questions over here. Jennifer asked, is Monitor ERP able to integrate with companies' existing ERP from other vendor in certain modules? Is Monitor ERP able to integrate with the company's existing ERP from other vendor in certain modules? Daniel?
Yeah, the answer is yes, but normally we don't, because normally you change what you have, I would say. But if let's say if you belong to some bigger group, which is quite common, you might use SAP or something of the big system on a group level. Then definitely we would integrate. Then you don't run the finance module in Monitor. You have the finance in SAP. In such case, we would integrate. So, but technically wise, you can integrate. There is open APIs. So technically no problem, but practically maybe more problem, I would say, if you have more systems. Yeah.
Okay, now that leads to our final question, which is related to that, from EG7. Okay, would like to know if it will be a big hassle in migrating database from an existing ERP system to another new ERP system, if we would like to switch or expand. Now, I think that is a very valid question for a lot of SMEs. Okay, they might have already adopted certain ERP, just like Atnesis previously. Okay, now, right now, what their fear, SMEs always have a lot of fear. Okay, fear that, wow, I have so many database. What if later on, I actually migrate the data and it got lost and so forth? Would it be able to migrate? Daniel?
I jump into the system then. Very easy, as long as you can export the data you have in your current system. So in the standard Monitor, you have, for example, part import. So you can import all your part numbers, BOM, everything. You also have customer import, for example. You have supplier import. You can import.
So we can actually easily migrate the data from the old ERP system to your system?
Yeah, you do, either you do it yourself or we help you during the implementation, but it is built-in functions to, this is how it looks. I can import part, material, operation, budgets, basically anything. So absolutely no problem. As long as you can extract it from your current system into Excel or some text files.
Oh, okay.
But also, I think like what Cynthia said now, I think Atnesis is keyed in most. We try to get our customers to key in as much as possible, because then you learn how to do it, and it's also great for housekeeping. Because if you just export and import, it's normal. The quality of the data normally is not as good. So normally it's a combination. You maybe you tidy up all your things in an Excel, and once it's clean, then you import it. So
okay. Thank you very much. Now the time is 5 minutes past 5. Okay, now before I end the session, I would like to just inform all the participants of a few news. Number one is that MIPI, together with the MPC, SME Malaysia, FMM, CRIM, and SME Corp, we are actually going around the nation to do roadshow to explain more about this industry forward roadshow that we actually gonna explain industry forward over here. On the 23rd March, we will be going to Kuala Terengganu, and on the 30th March, we will be at the Seremban, at Negeri Sembilan. So if you want to know more about this event, do contact 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗧 and to register for it, because the purpose is that right now we are going all out to actually include the one-to-one coaching as well. So you go there is not to just to listen to us, but if you have any issues, any problem, any challenges, you can approach all of us, from either the solutions provider, from the policy maker, for those who offer you the grant, for those who assess your readiness assessment, for those like for us that we review your technical your readiness assessment. We are there to really answer your question. So if you can make it over there, that would be great. And if you have fellow companies or fellow friends who are in the manufacturing, who are in the RA company, who are applying for the intervention fund, please do go for this event to get your answer. Okay, so remember for that. That's number one. Number two, I would like to repeat that for the companies who have received your readiness assessment report, please do benefit from the Rise Forward program, which is 100% subsidized training that you can actually go for any training provider, okay, that to send your people to go for training, and you do not need to pay a cent up to 25,000 ringgit. Now, Atnesis, have you sent your people for Rise Forward or not?
You're going to?
Going to. Contact me. I'll tell you how to apply. I'll tell you who to go for and so forth. To get it quick, because the it's limited budget. The HRD Corp is only limiting 200 companies over here. So please take the opportunity. Don't waste it. Contact me, and I'll try my best actually to give you more information. Now, with that, I would like to thank Mr. Neoh and also Cynthia for sharing your real story about your journey, because the Malaysian manufacturers really need to hear it from their fellow SME manufacturers themselves. Okay, yes, of course, solution provider like Daniel from Monitor ERP, they will also be very sincere sharing a lot of information. But as Malaysian manufacturers always say, where solution providers always say the good things, never say the bad things. So I don't believe you. So that's why that in our forum, Smart Forward, we always strike a balance that we want the real story to be told. And when the real story be told, the SMEs will be able to prepare themselves for their smart manufacturing journey. To end this, thank you for coming for the Smart Forward web forum, which is a smarter way for you to go for the smart manufacturing journey. I'm King Tek over here, one of the champions for the Smart Forward initiative. I'm also the managing consultant for 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗧𝗏 brand and marketing services. We actually do a lot of the SME business transformation. And over here, we sign off, and we look forward for you to attend our next session, which is 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later, we would have the Selangor Human Resource Development Corporation, who will be sharing with us on the people matters. Now, in Industry Forward, people, process, technology, and just now Cynthia already mentioned, people is very important. So come register for the next session, which is on the people side. SHRDC will be sharing with us on what can you do, what should you prepare yourself. Okay, thank you very much, and goodbye. Stay safe, stay negative from the COVID, but stay positive in the business. And thank you very much. Thank you for participating. The sessions ends right now.